friends. Welcome to Story Behind Podcast. This is the show for people who love hearing a good story and who believe the world could use more positivity. We're the team behind God Updates and God Too, and we hope these weekly short stories will brighten your day.
Rodeo star Spencer Wright and wife need prayers after taking son Levi off life support. Written by Heather Riggleman, read by Julie Provost. Levi Wright gave his parents a chance to say goodbye. His rodeo star father, Spencer Wright, and his wife need prayers after taking their son Levi off life support. In the face of an unimaginable tragedy, the Wright family finds comfort in their faith and the outpouring of support from their community. Levi Wright, their 3-year-old son, tragically passed away after a near-drowning incident in a Utah river. Despite the heroic efforts to save him, Levi's brain was deprived of oxygen for too long. It's every parent's worst fear, losing a child. The decision to let him go was agonizing. After several sleepless nights, lots of research, multiple conversations with the world's best neurologists, and millions of prayers, we are here in the face of our biggest fear, Callie wrote. Levi showed us just enough to buy us time for all of this. We prayed those things were him defying odds and proving to us that he wanted to stay here. But we see now he wanted to give us time to find peace with letting him go. I told you my baby was thoughtful and considerate. I truly believe he did that for us. Family friend Mindy Sue Clark confirmed Levi's passing, stating he was the absolute best little boy. The Wright family is navigating life without their beloved child. They are leaning on their faith and their love they've received nationwide. Callie shared a poignant video of herself and Levi, expressing how her son had brought out humanity across the nation. He reminded people of what truly matters. She finds solace in knowing that Levi will be restored to the perfect little boy he was, that he would be able to do all the things he loves in heaven. Here soon I'll climb into bed with my baby and hold him as he falls asleep for the last time on this earth, Callie wrote. I find comfort in knowing he'll be restored to the perfect little boy he was and have the ability to do all the things he loves. I know there are angels up there waiting to hold him until I can again. Callie conveyed a mother's enduring love and hope. We love you, baby beans, and I can't wait till the day you can work the ground with me again. The Wright family's faith and the comfort they draw from God's promises offer a beacon of hope amidst their sorrow. This reminds us of the strength found in love and faith. In this time of profound grief, let us all keep the Wright family in our prayers, asking for God's comfort and strength to surround them. Psalm 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. May they find peace and healing in His presence. Gary Sinise tearfully opens up about losing his son and the blessing of support he's received. Written by Julie Provost, read by Julie Provost. Entertainment Tonight's Rachel Smith sits down with Gary Sinise for an interview about his late son's 5-year cancer journey. In January of this year, Gary Sinise and his wife, Maura Harris, his son, Mac, passed away of cancer at the age of 33. Rachel starts off the interview by asking, "How are all of you holding up?" Gary responds, "Well, we're doing okay. It's tough." McKenna Anthony Sinise, Mac, was diagnosed with chordoma, a rare form of cancer, in 2018. This is the kind of slow-going tumor. It could have been there since birth, Gary comments. Mac was having a lot of pain in his tailbone. At first, they assumed this was from when he had jammed the brakes too hard when he was on his bike. He did eventually go in and get it checked out, and that's when they discovered that he had a massive tumor on his sacrum. Mac had the tumor removed in September 2018, but in May 2019, it unfortunately came back. There was a really stormy period with my dad had a stroke and my wife had multiple spine surgeries, and then she got diagnosed with cancer. And then my son got diagnosed with cancer a couple months later. I was like, God, what's going on? What's happening? Because this is challenging, Gary says. Gary Sinise shares in the interview that just before they received his son's diagnosis, his wife, Maura Harris, was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer, and she went into remission and has been cancer-free ever since. As you can imagine, this is a lot for one family to endure. One medical diagnosis is enough, but to endure all of this is quite a challenge. But you know, I've got to tell you, I've seen so many families go through really difficult things in the military over the years. Having seen so much of that prepared me really well to just say, you can't let this paralyze you. You have to fight, Gary says, about all that they have been dealing with. Gary Sinise shared a story about Mac and discussed what was happening with their family on his website. The amount of response that has come in from that, we were just going through it, but to reveal it and then have this massive response of outpouring love and support, I've got to tell you that that has helped our family through these initial months of losing our son, he says. It is a reminder about how far a kind word can go for a hurting family, even if you don't know them personally. What we do and say matters. Music was a huge part of Mac's life. He received his first set of drums when he was 9 years old. Gary himself is a musician. In addition to acting, he formed the Lieutenant Dan Band in 2003 to perform at USO shows, entertain the troops, and raise money for disabled veterans. The band is named after his character in the 1994 movie Forrest Gump. Gary Sinise discusses Mac's passion for music in the interview. At some point, Mac couldn't play the drums anymore, so he picked up on the harmonica. He also worked on his song Arctic Circle, which he hadn't finished before. This led to the creation of a whole album, Resurrection and Revival, which will be released soon. He was a pure soul. He had a pure heart, Gary says of his son. He was a gentle, loving, kind, funny, talented guy. He had a strong faith, and it helped him through, I think. Toward the end of the interview, Gary starts to tear up as he says he was happy at the end of his life. Mac never gave up. He kept fighting, and I'm proud to be his dad. We continue to pray for Gary and his family during this time. Losing a child is a heartbreaking thing to have to go through. However, we know that God is there to walk beside Mac's family and help them through this time. The Lord is near to them that are of a broken heart, and save such as be of a contrite spirit. Psalms 34:18.
Thank you so much for listening to Story Behind Podcast. We're really glad you joined us for this week's story. To see photos and videos that may have been referenced in this episode, check out the links in the show notes. And if you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe to our podcast, and please tell a friend about us. We'd also love it if you'd rate us and leave us a review. It really does help more people find us. Story Behind is a Salem Web Network production.